Hi friends, it's Jennifer Smith, and I wanted to start out by sharing with you some thoughts about myself actually. So what I wanted to share with you is that I am a beautiful, loving, compassionate coach, mentor, and friend, and I love me. I really do. I love me. And you might think, oh, how can you say that? Isn't that prideful? Isn't that kind of narcissistic? Can't loving ourselves get us in trouble? But I want to say to you, there's a positive and there's a negative side to self-love. And it's actually a Greek word that I learned about a few weeks ago. And that word is philassia. Philassia can be self-love in a positive way or a negative way. So in a positive way, that self-love can be self-esteem, self-confidence, self-worth, and self-compassion, which is huge, which I talked about the other day. But the negative side of philassia is that we can have pride and hubris. Like, what in the world is that? Hubris means when we have excessive self-confidence. And we can have abusive tendencies and even the narcissism when we have the negative parts of self-love. But of course, today I want to talk to you about 3 good reasons why self-love is good and important, and especially in our relationships and that marriage relationship where we are so close to that other person, hopefully, that self-love can be really important. So, first reason is we do not take offense as easily when we have good self-worth, self-esteem, self-confidence. You may have heard that term that hurt people, right? And so when we can understand that other people are struggling, and that might be why they're throwing those darts at us, and we can just stand strong and have that good self-love, the healthy self-love, then we're not going to get offended as easily. And then what happens when we get offended? Okay, so that's number 2 reason, is leading into number 2, is when we get offended, we tend to want to fight back. We don't like to be hurt. So there again, hurt people. And so the second reason it's great to have that positive self-love is we don't get stuck in this pride and hide cycle. And so what does that mean? So if you just look at your feelings and your interactions with other people, sometimes when we get into this anger and blame, I'm going to point my finger, anger and blame, that's part of that cycle when we have these emotional triggers. And if we don't have enough self-love and self-confidence, we're going to get emotionally triggered a lot more. So that's the pride side is the anger and the blame. The other side, the hide part of that cycle, is when we go into shame and isolation. We want to get away from everyone. We want to hide. We want to shut down because it's triggered some emotions in us where we don't feel confident and we don't feel good about ourselves. And so we just want to go hide and have a pity party, right? So having healthy self-love can help with that. The third reason that having this healthy philassia love about ourselves, why it's good, is it helps us let go of this perfectionism cycle where we think that we need to be perfect and everybody else needs to be perfect. We kind of get into judgment. And it reminds me of this book from an awesome therapist, and it's called I'm Not Okay, You're Not Okay, and That's Okay. So when we can get away from this perfectionism, we can accept ourselves, our own weaknesses. It makes it easier to accept other people's weaknesses and the fact that they're not going to do things the way exactly you would want to do them, and they're just not going to be perfect, right? So if it is hard for you to love yourself, I have a challenge for you, okay? So at the beginning, I said that I'm a beautiful, compassionate, healing mentor, coach, and friend, right? And I love me. So my challenge is you choose at least 3 things that are positive about yourself. And not just that I'm a mom or I'm an awesome dad or whatever. Get a little more specific. So like for me, I said that I'm beautiful, I'm compassionate, I'm healing, right? And write 3 I am statements. I am is really important. So I am these 3 things. And then say it to yourself 3 times a day for the next week. And see if that can help build your own self-love, which is important for self-esteem, self-confidence, self-worth, and self-compassion, which that last one, my favorite, self-compassion. So I love you, my friends, and I can say that because I practice and I learn to love myself better every day so that I can learn to love you and my spouse and all my awesome friends and neighbors a lot better. So I hope you have an awesome day, and remember to love yourself.